Hey guys, I am MG, and today I'll be looking at the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, which is a 2020 American animated adventure comedy film that is about SpongeBob and Patrick going on a journey to rescue Gary the Snail from King Poseidon, where it's also based on the series itself, and it was written and directed by Tim Hill. However, why don't we stop obsessing over looks and start reviewing right now? This may seem like a bit of an odd statement, but I kind of enjoyed this more than the second movie. That's not to say it's significantly better. I still think that this is kind of mediocre, but it does have some fun elements in it, like the animation. This new 3D style looks absolutely gorgeous, that is really expressive in terms of all of the beautiful sets, and how every character is made so fluently, that suits the tone very well, and never once felt disjointed at any point, that was just right for this movie. And I've enjoyed a bit of the humor as well. Not all the jokes work, as they can be a little stilted and tiresome at times. But when the humor gets creative, it's honestly quite amusing, especially the conversations between SpongeBob and Patrick, which doesn't necessarily invest me in their characters, but it was worthwhile for having a few notable laughs. And all of the musical scenes were solid as well. The original song of Secrets of a Formula was pretty decent, and I quite enjoyed the bit with Snoop Dogg rapping, which was very neat. And the whole part of this western place with Danny Trejo was pretty cool, which isn't all that funny, but I felt like it was a nice little inclusion, and still does a really fantastic job of mixing between the animation and the live action elements. The pop songs were nice as well, and fit the story pretty tonally. That is definitely one of the better moments in the movie, especially the last one with Take On Me, which was a fitting end to the film. But that's not to say it salvages the whole runtime. The story is just a straight up rehash of the original, where the main characters are going on a road trip to get something, only it's with Gary being kidnapped, and it ends up being really uninspired. I didn't find the original characters all that charming, their relationships don't matter to the story, and the new ones aren't very interesting. The villain is really underwhelming, that is just a lame version of King Neptune. Keanu Reeves' inclusion is kind of wasted, because he was never funny, or amusing, and was unnecessary in general. Otto could have been fun, but they don't even try to do that with her. And Danny Trejo doesn't stick out to me either. I only really like Snoop Dogg's character, but that's mainly because of his song, and not necessarily his writing. So yeah, the characters are pretty weak. And they try to do this emotional moment, where SpongeBob is important, but it's not really a character growth, and it's obviously just marketing that forgettable spin-off show, which just dragged on for so long. The way Squidward said SpongeBob doesn't deserve to die was very nice, but still, this pointless scene was tedious to get through. The pacing can also feel a little over the place sometimes, where a few moments felt a little odd, in terms of how long they went on for. Overall, I certainly liked this one better than the previous installment, mainly because of how the humor and slapstick was more or less charming, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's worth a watch. It's perfectly harmless if you want more SpongeBob, but I would just rather see the original again. 5.5 out of 10. Goodbye everyone, and thank you for watching. Bye!